Hey Fix It Warriors. It's a rainy Saturday afternoon on Long Island, and I kind of got bored, and I've been putting this job off a little bit, this little project, but I'm kind of excited to start it, to be honest with you. And so today we're going to begin changing the dash panels out. I bought a piece of ABS, a plastic wood grain, especially for marine dashes. And I need to get all these gauges out. I need to mark them, and then I need to take the existing panel and use it as a template to mark out the other one, cut it, make sure everything fits right, and then we'll start to get the new gauges back into it. So it's going to be a long project. We're going to start with the gauges at the top, and then the next project will be for the switches, and then there's a bottom one underneath the steering wheel that we will tackle as well. It's going to be a fun project, so let's get started. So you can see here, like, we've got stuff cracked all over the, it's just faded, it's cracked, it's coming apart. So we are going to take this out today and unhook everything and try to get this panel out for starters so we can get a pattern on the new piece of plastic. And then I'll try to get as many gauges back into it. This gauge right here, Faria, whoever makes these, they were redesigning them. These should be out in the spring, so I won't have that one. And I think these two right here, I still have to order, I think. So I'll be able to get most of them in, but you'll be able to get an idea of what it's gonna look like. So let's get started. I'm gonna mark these with tape so that I know where they go when I come back and swap out the new gauges. I've already put this past season 2 temperature gauges in it, and it took care of the problem. So I know the gauges are 20 something years old, and it's time. I'm going to put all new hardware in as well. So I took a bunch of pictures. Your phone is your best tool, because if you forget how things go, you can always go back as a reference. So what I'm doing is I have everything to the left is for the port engine, everything to the right is for the starboard engine. So I'm just marking these just so that when I get these taken apart, I'll know exactly where they go. You can see just this thing's literally falling apart. It's just in pieces. So we are well beyond time changing this. It's so far beyond. So let me get a few more things taken apart, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So you can see here, this oil gauge, now that I have it out, it's all cracked. See that? So that's letting moisture in. That's not going to be good for getting a proper reading right there. So thank God we have new gauges. We'll be able to fix all that. So as I am taking these wires apart, I'm marking, for instance, bottom right, 2 purple, bottom middle, 2 black, bottom left, tan, top left, 2 dark blue. I'm also recording these in my phone so that I won't have any doubt as to where the wires go. Next, I'm going to remove this fuse panel. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is take these 2 voltage meters, and what I don't like about this setup is when you put the keys in, you can't read the meters. It's a bad design. So I'm gonna take these, and then these are no longer usable. I'm gonna put the voltmeters up here so that with the dash, it's easier to read. So today the project is removing this, doing all the wires, marking everything obviously, and then tackling this switch panel here with all this. So it's gonna take some time, but let's get started again. So I'm here, got my jigsaw, I've got everything marked out, and I've just cut one of the panels here. I did it on the, I marked it all out on the back side. So I'll be drilling these holes for the gauges, but you can kind of get an idea of the front. They turned out really good. That's one of them. And then the other one is right here, which fits under the dash. I think everything is cutting well, and I'm just gonna finish cutting this out, and then we're gonna hopefully drill these holes out, and then I'll just kind of sand the edges to get them smooth. But I think overall, it's turning out really good. Okay, first what we're gonna do is we've cut these panels, and I'm just trying to get the fit perfect on these. So, a little hard to do with one hand, but there's a little bit of trimming I need to still do to get them to fit in the way they should. Obviously, the best way to do this is if we had like a water jet, like a CNC machine, I think they call it, but I don't have that. And so there's a little bit of trimming to get that to sit in there better. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. That'll just be by hand. And then the bottom panel actually fits perfect. So I really haven't had to do much there. That one fits perfect. That'll fit in there. So that one was good. This other one, I'm gonna have to use my heat gun because this is an angled dash, but I think we're pretty close. So I'm gonna keep sanding a little bit, and I won't bore you with that, but I'll let you know when it is finally perfect. So you can see here the difference in the old ones. I've got some of these taped together because they just have fallen apart. But that's the old one there. This is a new one. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to, see this one has a bend in it. So I am going to make a jig and get my heat gun out and try to bend that into that shape. Here's the old one here, the instrument cluster. This is all broken up. I had to tape it, and this is the new one. So I'm going to begin to set my gauges inside the holes here, and I'm waiting on a couple gauges to come in, but hopefully within a few days I'll be able to get this top panel back in. All right. So what I've come up with here is this crazy glass that we took out of the cabinets. Those of you that have been watching this channel, you know that I've gotten more use out of this crazy stuff. It's really thick. And I came up with a jig so that I could bend, I could put the old dash up here. I got the angle, the right angle, and I just put a board here just so that I have to stop, make sure that it's all good. And I'm gonna take my heat gun right here, and I'm gonna just start to heat the new panel and hopefully get this exact bend. So let's kind of see how it may, I mean, this could be a disaster, I don't know, but we're gonna give it a try. Okay, let's take a look here. I've got the angle perfectly. So it took me, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes just to heat this up. It bent down perfectly. I think I did it, and it was really inexpensive. I already got the holes filed out for the ignition keys and also the fuses. This is for the control for the front spotlight. And then I did, as I told you, move the 2 voltmeter gauges and put them up here so that they're closer to the unit. So, man, I got the bend. It turned out perfect. I'm so excited about that. So this glass is still the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to do next is drill out the holes for the fuses. And this thing is just so falling apart. I don't know how much you can see that, but I have marked these out. I'm just going to drill these out. There's 11 of them, and then hopefully everything will line back up. And the problem here is these were made from the factory like this, all labeled. I can't find anything like that anywhere. So I bought some real tiny stickers that are marine grade stickers. I'm going to try and see how it looks on here. As soon as I get these drilled out, I'm going to try to put them on and see what it looks like. Take your time. That's what happens when you're doing it with one hand. So you can see how good that turned out. The holes came through perfectly. And now I'm going to take them inside and try to put the stickers on. Hopefully it'll look good. And then this is just going to be a blank area. And I guess you could always add like an accessory switch or something like that here, but it's just going to be blank as opposed to where those 2 volt meters were, volt gauges. So yeah, I think it turned out really good. So I purchased this kit here on Amazon, and it looks pretty substantial. I'm impressed with it. It's not just like paper stickers with ink on them. They're almost like a plastic. So I think that might work. Let's try putting them on and let's see what they look like. Okay, I have the little labels on, and actually I was impressed with them. They're pretty heavy duty. I don't think they're going to wear out, or they're kind of it's like the lettering is embedded right into the plastic. So I mean, that's the best I could do with what I had. I think it looks okay. And once you get the fuses in there, the circuit breakers, it'll I think disappear. It'll look good. So this way too, I can still tell what is what. This one was a blank one for an accessory circuit breaker that I haven't used yet. So I'll keep that in mind. And I'm keeping the rest of the tabs in case I ever have to change it. So that's that project. And I think we're pretty close to reinstalling everything back into the boat. Okay, so I just got the 2 gauges in that I've been waiting for. I'm going to drop these mounting brackets on, and pretty straightforward to give you the mounting washers for them. And then pretty much with the exception of the engine sync gauge, which I guess they're not making yet. When that comes in, I'll be able to change that one out, and then all of them will be white gauges, but it still works, so it'll be okay. So basically, I'm just gonna run the nuts on here and get these tightened down, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got all the gauges are in. They're all tightened up, and you can see how nice that looks. And the great thing about these is you can still adjust these, get them just about perfect. And you can see the difference between the two. Just total different look. So at this point, I think I'm going to stop. I'm still waiting for the trim tab switches that are going to go down here. They haven't come in yet. So I still need to do that, make sure that they work, that they wire in okay. So I'll need to cut a hole here, mount the trim tab switches. But I think we're good. This piece is ready to go in the boat. This piece right here, we've got the voltmeters mounted where we kind of changed it out a little bit. We moved them from down here to up here. And the only thing I'm waiting on here is the switches, the switch panel, and that has not come in. So I think I'm going to end this project here for now. This will be part one. When I get the switch panel in, I'll show you how we wire that up, and then we'll get it all back in the boat and see if we burn down the boat or it actually runs. So, hey, thank you for joining us on Fix-It Warrior today. We hope that you've enjoyed this project. As you've noticed in the video, it was raining really hard that day that I took this all apart, and you can hear it in the background. So no, it wasn't static, and no, you're not losing your hearing. It was rain. We've gotten rain for about 2 weeks straight on Long Island. So I'm looking forward to the time when we can have sun and we can get the boat out in the water again. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much and have a great day. God bless you.